We all have that one customer that wants to sew bustier but does not like padded. They don't like their clothes padded. Watch this video to the end to see how to go about it. First thing I did was to mark out my shoulder and my shoulder slope. Then I went ahead to plot out my neckline. Neckline is your bust divided by 12 to get that. Then I went ahead to connect the neckline, took out the straight measurements, which were my shoulder, my chest line, bust point on the bust, and then waistline, which is the half length. This pattern is up to the half length. Sorry, I didn't know the camera caught the video short, like it wasn't in full. So here I took out the circumferences, which are the bust and the waist plus 1.5 inches dart allowance. Then I connected it. So after doing that, I went ahead to mark out my shoulder slope, and then I also took out my shoulder on the chest line. Marked it out so as to get a straight line to connect from the shoulder slope to the chest line in order to plot out my armhole curve. So here I took up 3 inches from the chest line and then went in by 0.75 to connect the shoulder to that point. Then I used my curve to blend it into the chest line. After that, I took down the bust dart, like side dart measurements, because usually when I draft my pattern, I am going to actually do a video of how to draft a basic body. So there I already have this. Then I went ahead to mark out my darts. That is what I'm doing right there. If you observe, you see that I went down the chest line by 1 inch to mark out that dart. Then I started my bust darts from that bust point itself. Then the next thing I did was to tighten the underbust. For the underbust, measure what you have for your client's underbust. The remaining is what you're going to split into the dart legs on both sides. But for the area that is on the side, you have to add more. You have to use more than the one that is on the center. So I'm adding 1.25. Then on the other side, I used 0.5 inches. Then I connected the curve. You can see that is me trying to blend in my underbust curve. And then I went ahead to draw a straight line to the half length. Then I measured out, in case you didn't see it, I measured out what I took out from that waist length. I transferred it back to the side. And I connected it back from the bust point to that half length. I'm sorry you didn't see that, but that's exactly what I did. And here I was done drafting the pattern, easy peasy. Then I went ahead to trace it out. Yes, that's me tracing out the pattern, because I already folded that paper into 2. So I was tracing it out because I wanted to draft an asymmetric neckline. So I traced it out. Then I went ahead to use my pencil to draw out the lines that I traced. So that is what you see me doing. When I was done tracing out, this is what I had. Then I also connected the sides. That's it. That's for the pattern. Then the next thing to do is to cut it out. Then I'm cutting from the waistline. I'm cutting it out first. Then I went ahead to cut out my dart lines. I'm cutting out the dart lines so you can see what I'm doing there. Right there, cutting out like so. I did the same for the other side. Then I closed the dart. You already see that we have enough opening to shape the underbust after closing that dart. Then I went to plot the neckline. I was marking out what I wanted to take out from the neckline, but I measured the slants, how deep I wanted it, and then the curve. But here I wasn't pleased with what I had. It wasn't wide enough, so I decided to replot the neckline. So that is what you see me doing here. I went in by, from that point I went in by 1 inch on both sides, then I went ahead to curve it. Yeah, I connected the curve. That's what you see me doing there. Yeah, I have a perfect neckline. Then I went on to connect. After I closed the darts, the sides were not connecting anymore, so I went ahead to connect them together. Then I cut out my pattern. After I was done cutting my pattern, I placed it on my fabric. My fabric was facing me, as in the right side was facing up, and then the pattern was also facing up. Note that if you face your pattern towards the wrong side of your fabric, it means that you're going to be cutting the wrong side, and it will change the position of your neckline. But if you have just round neckline, you don't have any issue. You can just cut it anyhow, but I'm just cutting single. Then I was marking out the allowance. Use whatever allowance you think works for you on the sides, but on the armhole, the shoulder, the neckline, all I did was just mark out 0.5 inch all around there. But on the side I used 2 inches. Yeah, that works for me. So that was exactly what I used. So when I was done marking out, I went ahead to cut out. Yes, I used 1/2 inch on the joining part as well. All of those points I used half inch, because that's enough for the joining for me. Then I cut it out, cutting. Yeah, still cutting, more cutting. Yeah, I was not cutting here, and this was what I had. Voila. Yeah, here I went ahead to pin down the points that I want to sew. Yeah, I was pinning it down here because yes, pin does it. Pin will help you sew perfectly. If you know that you're not the type to know how to position your fabrics well, just pin it down and you'll get the best results. So that's what I was doing here before going ahead to do the joining. Make sure you pin it right, pin the underbust correctly, pin the bust point right, and when you're done, just take to the sewing machine to join together. And that was exactly what I did here. So when I was done joining, this was what I had. Look at it, look at that shape, and it's going to absolutely give you that perfect bust lift. Look at it, look what you have. Yeah, anyways, we're done with this tutorial. Join me for another class soon. Yeah, watch out for more classes from this page. Kindly follow, like, share, and repost. Thank you.